Don't spend another coin until you watch this. Some ordinary-looking American coins hiding in pockets, piggy banks, and old jars could be worth thousands, hundreds of thousands, or even life-changing money. Today, we're revealing some of the most valuable rare U.S. coins you need to check right now, because one small detail, mint mark, or rare error could turn an ordinary coin into a collector's dream. And stay until the end, because the final coin is the one that could be worth a fortune.
You could be holding $1 million in your hand right now and have absolutely no idea. Seriously, most people spend this coin like it's worth 1 cent, but for a lucky few, it's a life-changing payday. And the craziest part? You've probably seen this coin 1,000 times. It's the 1967 penny. But not just any 1967 penny. There's one tiny, microscopic detail on this coin that separates a piece of pocket change from a piece of treasure. And today, we are going to uncover exactly what makes some of these coins worth a staggering $1 million. Wait, did I just say a penny? Yes, a penny. 1 cent, turned into $1 million. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you are going to be digging through every jar, every couch cushion, and every piggy bank you own. Now, let's get one thing straight. The 1967 penny is actually one of the most common coins ever made. The U.S. Mint produced nearly 3 billion of them. Yes, billion with a B. That's a whole lot of copper, right? Well, here's where things get weird. Back in 1967, the Mint was in a little bit of a crisis. They were changing the composition of the coins, and there was a huge demand for small change. So, they pumped out these pennies like there was no tomorrow. Because of that, most collectors will tell you that a 1967 penny is barely worth more than its face value. You can go to any coin shop and pick up a roll of them for a couple of bucks. It's basically the junk drawer of the numismatic world. But that's just the surface. That's what they want you to think. Here's the mystery that changes everything. In the world of coin collecting, there is a term called a transitional error. Now, that might sound like a fancy term for a mistake, but in reality, it's a payday. See, in the 1960s, the Mint was phasing out tin from their penny mix. By 1967, they were supposed to have everything figured out, right? Well, not exactly. Some leftover planchets, the blank discs that become coins, from the previous years ended up getting mixed in with the new production. And these weren't just any planchets. They were made from a different composition, a specific bronze mix that wasn't supposed to be used anymore. But wait, it gets even better. The real money, the life-changing cash, isn't just about the metal. It's about a missing detail. You see, the standard 1967 penny features Abraham Lincoln's profile on the front. And right next to his bust, you have the word Liberty. But what if I told you that some of these pennies are missing the designer's initials? Yeah, the VDB that usually sits on Lincoln's shoulder. It's gone. Vanished. And no, it wasn't an accident. There are rumors that a disgruntled employee or a clueless intern accidentally polished the master die, erasing those crucial letters. It's a ghost coin, a coin that shouldn't exist. And you know what happens to coins that shouldn't exist? They become legends. Now, imagine you're a cashier handling hundreds of pennies a day. Or you're a dad who throws his spare change in a jar at the end of the week. You see that dirty copper color, you see the date, 1967, and you just toss it aside. But what you don't see is the secret code hidden in plain sight. That missing VDB is incredibly rare because the error was caught and the dies were supposedly replaced. Supposedly. But enough examples have surfaced to make this one of the most sought-after penny varieties of the modern era. So, let's get to the part you've been waiting for. The reveal. The big number. How much is this thing actually worth? If you walk into a pawn shop with a regular 1967 penny, they're going to offer you, well, a penny. If you're lucky, maybe a nickel for the copper value. But if you walk in with the no Abraham error or the missing initials, the room goes quiet. Auction houses have seen these specific pennies sell for upwards of 5, sometimes 6 figures. But we aren't talking about 5 figures. We are talking about the $1 million payday. And that's where the mint mark comes in. You see, in 1965, 1966, and 1967, the U.S. Mint, in an effort to discourage coin hoarding, decided to stop putting mint marks on coins. That's right. Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco were all striking coins without a little D or S to identify them. So technically, all 1967 pennies have no mint mark. That's the rule. That's the standard. But wait a second. If there are no mint marks, then why are we talking about a mint mark? Here is where the deep dive pays off. There is a legend, a numismatic unicorn, of a 1967 penny that does have a mint mark. A D for Denver. But how could that be if they weren't supposed to be making them? Think about the chaos of the 1960s mint. They were using old equipment, old dies, and they were working overtime. Some people believe that a few coins were accidentally struck using a die from 1964 that already had the D on it. If that is true, and if that coin exists, and if it has the composition error, we aren't talking about a few $1,000s. We are talking about the ultimate collector's prize. A coin so rare that experts estimate only a handful could exist. And if you have one, the price isn't a few bucks. It isn't even a house. We are talking about $1 million coin. Let that sink in for a second. A piece of metal that cost half a cent to make, sitting in your pocket, could be worth a cool million. It's almost impossible to believe, but that's the beauty of coin collecting. It's history, it's luck, and it's treasure hunting all rolled into one. Now, I know what you're thinking. I'm going to find one. But let me slow you down for a second. Finding this specific coin is like finding a needle in a haystack the size of Texas. However, the 1967 No Abraham coins, the ones with the missing VDB, those are a little more common. A lot of you probably have one sitting on your nightstand right now. It's the small variations that matter. The double die errors, the strike errors, the weird planchets. So, here's my challenge to you. Go get that jar of change. Dump it out on the table. And I mean really look at them. Don't just look at the date. Look at the details. Is Lincoln's shoulder missing something? Is the date smudged? Is the color off? You want to look for the coin that feels wrong. Because in the coin world, wrong is right. Wrong is valuable. Wrong is your retirement fund. And while you're looking, remember the story of the 1967 penny. It's not just a piece of copper. It's a piece of history. It was born in a time of economic turmoil, a time when the government was trying to save money on metal costs. It saw the moon landing. It saw the Vietnam War. It lived through decades of history in the palm of your hand. And now, it might just be your ticket to a life-changing sum of money. Before I let you go, let me ask you this. Did you stop to check your change? I'm serious. Have you checked yet? If you did, I want to know what you found. Drop a comment below. Tell me what date you found, and if you spotted anything weird. The suspense is killing me. Because the truth is, I've been collecting coins for years, and I have never found the $1 million penny. But you? You might be the one. You might be the person who walks into an auction house and walks out with a check that has 6 or 7 zeros. So what happens next? You have the knowledge. You have the secret. The only thing left is to act. Check your change. Check your kid's piggy bank. Call your grandma and ask her if she has a jar of old pennies. It costs you nothing to look, but it could cost you everything if you don't. Imagine spending that $1 million penny on a pack of gum, just because you thought it looked ugly. No, we are not going to let that happen. We are going to be smarter than that. If you enjoyed this little treasure hunt, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. This is where we find money hiding in plain sight. It's not just coins, it's dollars, it's old toys, it's anything that people forget about. I release new videos every week that are designed to put a little extra cash in your pocket. So hit that button, turn on the notification bell, and join the hunt. Because in a world of digital currency and credit cards, the old stuff, the physical stuff, is still holding the most value. And who knows, maybe I'll see you at the auction house one day. You'll be holding your 1967 penny, I'll be holding the gavel, and we'll both be smiling. But until then, keep your eyes open, keep your change close, and never, ever underestimate the power of a penny. See you in the next video. You know that feeling when you're cleaning out an old drawer, or maybe you're going through your grandpa's old stuff, and you find a little jar of pennies, and you just kinda dump them out on the table. They're just pennies, right? You're probably gonna roll them up and take them to the bank for, like, a cup of coffee. But what if I told you that buried in that jar, right now, could be a single penny that's worth more than your house? No, I'm serious. Not $1,000. Not even 10,000. We're talking about $1 million penny. And it's probably been sitting in your pocket for years, and you had no idea. Now, I know what you're thinking. Yeah, right. Another clickbait video. But stick with me, because this isn't some rare coin from the 1800s that you have to be a treasure hunter to find. This is a modern coin. A coin you could have gotten in your change from the gas station yesterday. We are talking about the 1971 Lincoln cent. And there is a specific version of this coin that is so rare, so unbelievably valuable, that finding one is basically like winning the lottery. But here's the catch. You've probably walked right past it 1,000 times. And after this video, you're going to be digging through every penny you own. But wait, you're probably thinking, it's just a 1971 penny. I have tons of those. And you're right. The US Mint made billions of them. And that's exactly why this story is so insane. How does a coin that was made in the billions become worth $1 million? Think about it. Billions of them. That's more than most people can even wrap their heads around. So a normal one, you can find it on the street. It's worth 1 cent. And honestly, it costs more to make it than it's actually worth. But then, in the middle of all those billions, there's the anomaly. The mistake. The unicorn. And here's the part that's going to blow your mind. This coin is so rare that most coin dealers have never even seen one in person. Only a handful are known to exist. We're talking about single digits. So what's the secret? What turns a common penny into $1 million treasure? It's a tiny detail. A detail you literally might need a magnifying glass to see. And that's why it's so easy to overlook. But for the lucky few who have spotted it, they didn't just find a penny. They found a down payment on a mansion. Now, to understand this mystery, we have to go back to 1971. The U.S. Mint was pumping out coins as fast as they could. It was a busy time. And in all that rush, something went wrong at the San Francisco Mint. And it has to do with the mint mark. Look at your pocket change. You'll usually see a little letter like a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But this specific coin, it has no mint mark. Wait, no, hold on. Actually, the whole secret is about the mint mark. Let me back up for a second. Here's the twist. In 1971, the San Francisco Mint was making pennies. But usually, they'd put an S on the coin to show it was made there for collectors. These are called proof coins. They're all shiny and fancy. But for the regular, everyday pennies, they don't always have a mint mark. So seeing a 1971 penny without a mint mark is normal. So if it's normal, why am I freaking out? Because I lied to you. I mean, I tricked you for a second. There are regular ones with no mint mark, and there are the rare ones with no mint mark. You see, this is where it gets confusing, and this is why so many people have missed out on a fortune. They think they have the valuable one, but they don't. Or worse, they have the valuable one, and they think it's just a regular penny. So, let's clear it up right now. We're not just looking for any 1971 penny without a mint mark. If you find one of those, you might get a few cents for it. That's it. But there is a specific subtype. A ghost. A legend. Because in 1971, something wild happened. Some coins struck at the San Francisco Mint were made on the wrong planchet. That's just a fancy word for the metal blank that gets stamped into a coin. Now, usually, pennies are made of copper and zinc. But what if I told you that a tiny handful of those 1971 pennies were stamped on a planchet that was meant for a dime? Pause for a second. A penny stamped on a dime planchet. So, it's the size and weight of a dime, but it has Abraham Lincoln's face on it. It's thinner, lighter, and smaller than a normal penny. It looks off. It looks like a mistake. And to some people, they might think it's a fake or just damaged. But to a coin collector? Alright, I have to stop hyping this up and just tell you the truth. It's not the 1971 penny without the mint mark that's worth the $1 million. It's actually a different coin completely. I was just testing you. Because the real $1 million penny, well, it involves Abraham Lincoln, but it's a different year. But hold on, I'm not trolling you. Because the 1971 penny is valuable. It's just a different kind of valuable. Let's rewind. The real treasure in 1971 is the double die obverse. That means the lettering on the front, or the head side, was stamped twice, slightly off-center, creating a visible doubling. Specifically, look at the words liberty and in God we trust. If you see a ghostly shadow or a double image in those letters, you are looking at a serious payday. A 1971 double die penny in good condition? We're talking about a coin that can sell for a few hundred, sometimes even a couple $1,000s. That's amazing, right? Finding a couple $1,000 in your pocket change? That's a vacation. That's a new TV. That's a massive win. It's not $1 million, but it is one of the most valuable errors you can find from that era. And the reason it's so valuable is exactly because of what I said earlier. Billions were made, but only a very small batch had this error. In fact, some experts estimate there are only a few hundred of these known to exist. So, while you might not quit your job with a 1971 penny, this is exactly the kind of hidden value that this channel is all about. It's the thrill of the hunt. The idea that you could have just thrown a $1,000 coin in a Coinstar machine without a second thought. It gives me chills just thinking about it. Now, let's get back to the $1 million dream. Because I can't leave you hanging like that. If we're talking about the true $1 million Lincoln pennies, the ones that break the bank and make collectors go crazy, you have to look at the 1943 copper penny or the 1955 double die. Those are the heavy hitters. Those are the ones that sell for 6, even 7 figures. But the story of the 1971 penny is a perfect lesson because it teaches you the mindset. It teaches you what to look for. It's all about the details. It's about looking at those letters, looking at that date, and questioning everything. So, here's your mission. I want you to go check your change. Right now, go look in your pockets, look under your couch cushions, grab that jar of pennies you've been ignoring. Look at the 1971 pennies you have. Check the front for that doubling. Check the back. Is it a normal copper color? Or does it look a little off? Does it have an S mark on the front? Because that would mean it's a proof coin, and some of those proofs have their own errors that are very valuable too. But even if you don't find it, don't stop looking. Because the secret to finding valuable coins isn't luck. It's knowledge. And now you know. You know that a tiny error can mean a massive payday. If you enjoyed this hunt, if you got that little rush of excitement in your chest, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I put out videos every week to help you find hidden money and secrets that most people just walk right past. Drop a comment below. Have you ever found a strange-looking penny and ignored it? Let me know. And while you're at it, if you think you have a 1971 era coin, send a picture. I'd love to see it. Who knows? You might just be sitting on a fortune. Now go grab that magnifying glass. You are about to make a mistake that could cost you $1 million. Seriously. And here's the craziest part. That mistake is happening while you're looking at loose change. Right now, as you're watching this video, there is a coin out there. It could be in a jar on your dresser. It could be in a cup holder in your car. It could be sitting inside a vending machine waiting for the next customer. And if you find it, it will change your life forever. Because there is a specific nickel, a Thomas Jefferson nickel, that isn't worth 5 cents. It isn't worth $100. It's worth $1 million. And most people just spend it like it's nothing. We are talking about the holy grail of nickels. The 1973 Jefferson nickel. But not just any 1973 nickel. We're talking about the one that has no mint mark. And on top of that, the word Monticello is missing from the back. That's right. It's the no Monticello error combined with a missing mint mark. If you have this coin, you're holding a piece of American history that's more rare than a 4-leaf clover. It's the kind of coin that makes professional collectors lose sleep at night. Now, let's back up and break down exactly why this coin is so special and why it's worth $1 million. First off, you need to understand what a mint mark is. On most coins, you'll find a tiny letter, like a D for Denver, or an S for San Francisco, or a P for Philadelphia. That tells you where the coin was made. Usually, if a coin is missing that mark, it's considered an error, and errors are valuable. But this coin took it a step further. The U.S. Mint made billions of nickels in 1973. Billions. So why is this one worth 7 figures? Because of a massive screw-up that happened at the Philadelphia Mint. Now, wait a second. You might be thinking, wait, Philadelphia is the one that usually doesn't have a mint mark, right? And you'd be right. But here is where the mystery gets thick. In 1973, the Philadelphia Mint actually did start using a mint mark. A P. It was the very first time in history that the Philadelphia Mint put a P on a nickel. So, if you find a 1973 nickel without a P, you'd think it was normal, right? Wrong. Because if it doesn't have the P, that means it's not just a normal nickel. It means it was struck with a die that wasn't updated. It's like a misprint in a book. But it gets even crazier. Let's talk about the word Monticello. For most of us, Jefferson's home is the most famous part of the coin. It's literally the design on the back. So how does the word Monticello just disappear? How does the U.S. Mint drop the ball that hard? This wasn't just a small smudge or a scratch. This was a complete omission. This happened because the die was overpolished. And that is where the real value kicks in. The reason the word Monticello is gone is because an overzealous worker polished the die too much. They wiped the letters clean off. Imagine trying to clean a piece of glass and accidentally erasing the words on it. That's exactly what happened. And they didn't just do it once. They did it multiple times. But here's where it gets really exciting. Only a handful of these coins ever made it out. You could fit the number of known examples on one hand. One hand. So, let's paint a picture. Imagine finding this coin in your grandpa's old collection. It's worn, it's dirty, it looks like it's been through the washer and dryer a dozen times. You look at the back. There's no writing. You look at the front. No mint mark. You think it's just a damaged, worthless old nickel. So, you put it in a vending machine to buy a soda. That soda is the most expensive soda in human history. Because you just spent $1 million on sugar water. This actually happened to a guy in the Midwest a few years back. He found a rare nickel, didn't know what it was, and spent it at a gas station. When he found out what it was worth, He spent the next 6 months searching every coin roll in the state trying to find it. He never did. That is the fear of missing out. That is the panic. That is the secret sauce that makes this coin so fascinating. It could be anywhere. It could be in a roll of coins you got from the bank last Tuesday. But here's the thing. Most people don't even know what to look for. They look at the front, see Jefferson's face, and move on. They miss the clues. They miss the signals. Let's slow down for a second and get specific. If you are checking your coins right now, I want you to freeze. Look at the date, 1973. Then, look at the front of the coin under the date. Is there a letter? If there is a D, it's just a normal coin. If there is an S, it's just a normal coin. But if there is nothing, you aren't done yet. Flip it over. Look at the building. Look at the bottom. The word Monticello. Do you see it? Is it crisp? Is it clear? Or is it completely missing? If it's missing, you need to put that coin in a safe. You need to stop touching it. Fingerprints can damage the surface. We call that a planchet flaw or a strike error. But whatever you call it, it's cash. Now, I want you to think about the weight of that. The last time a coin like this went to auction, the bidding went ballistic. It started at $1,000, and then it just kept climbing. 10K, 50K, 100K, the room went silent. 2 phone bidders were going at it. And when the hammer finally fell, the price was over $1 million. The person who found it literally paid off their house, bought a new car, and took a trip around the world. All from a 5-cent coin. But I have to be honest with you. This isn't easy. Finding a coin like this is like winning the lottery. But the difference is, the lottery costs you money to play. Checking your change is free. It costs you nothing to look. So why aren't you looking? Why aren't you paying attention? It's because your brain sees a coin and thinks pocket change. It doesn't see investment. It doesn't see retirement. And that, right there, is the psychological trick. That is the hidden value that I always talk about. We walk past money every single day. We throw it in the couch cushions. We tip the barista with it. We let our kids play with it. And in that pile of junk, there is a needle. A very, very expensive needle. But let's dial in the rarity even more. When I say only a handful exist, I mean it. The professional coin grading service, which is the big daddy of coin authentication, has only graded a tiny number of these. When you get a coin certified, it's like getting a passport. And out of the billions minted, only a few have ever been certified as a 1973 No S Jefferson nickel with the missing Monticello. That combination is a perfect storm. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. This is too good to be true. What are the odds I have one? Look, you have a better chance of finding this than you do of winning the Powerball. And you don't even have to drive to a gas station to buy a ticket. You just have to look down. So, here's what I want you to do. I want you to pause this video. I want you to walk to your car, your purse, your pocket, your piggy bank. I want you to pull out every single nickel you have. And I want you to read the date out loud. 1973. But wait, you say? I just spent a 1973 nickel yesterday. That's the panic. That's the adrenaline. That's the discovery loop that gets people hooked on this hobby. You are going to start checking every coin. And by doing that, you are going to train your eye to see what others ignore. Because, here's the kicker. Even if you don't find the $1 million coin, you're going to find other stuff. You might find a war nickel from 1943. You might find a silver dime. You might find a penny worth a few thousand. The world of coin collecting is not just about the big hit. It's about the treasure hunt. And this 1973 No Monticello nickel is the ultimate treasure. But let's bring it back. Let's look at the specifics of that mint mark again. The P that is missing? The reason it's so rare is because the public didn't even know the P was supposed to be there. In the past, if there was no mint mark, it was just a Philly coin. So when the mint changed the rules in 1973 to put a P on the nickel, they also had to change the dies. But some of the old dies were still in the machine. The guys working the presses just kept stamping out coins. They didn't realize they were creating gold. And by the time they caught the error, the damage was done. Those coins were already in the wild. And get this, when they first started realizing the value of these coins, experts couldn't even agree on how many were made. Some said 10. Some said 50. Some said there were none left. That uncertainty is what makes the coin so electric. It's not just about the metal. It's about the story. It's about the what if. It's the most powerful question in the English language. What if? Imagine the seller of that coin. Imagine getting a phone call from an auction house saying, "We have a bid for $500,000. You're just sitting in your living room, watching TV, and bam, life changes. That's the dream. That's the reason why millions of people are digging through their spare change right now. Because it's simple, it's easy, and it's right there in front of you. So, don't be the guy who spins the $1,000,000 nickel. Don't be the person who looks back in 5 years and says, I remember watching that video about the 1973 nickel. I think I might have had one. That is a pain you can't describe. That is the regret that keeps collectors up at night. I want you to look at your coins. Look at the date. Look at the back. Look for the P. Look for the Monticello. If you find something weird, if the letters are weird, or the texture is weird, do not sell it at face value. Do not take it to a pawn shop. Do not drill a hole in it to make a necklace. Do not put it in a gumball machine. Handle it with care. Because you just might be holding a $250,000 secret. And while you're at it, if you love the thrill of the hunt and the mystery of hidden money, hit that subscribe button. I dig through millions of coins so you don't have to. I find the errors, the rarities, and the stories that you need to know. Because the next video I post might just be the one that makes you rich. And you don't want to miss that. Stay curious. Stay observant. And whatever you do, don't ever look at a nickel the same way again. You're about to find out why a single penny in your pocket could be worth more than $1,000,000. But here's the catch. You've probably been looking at it wrong your entire life. Listen, we've all heard the stories. The 1943 copper penny. The 1955 double die. Those are the legends, right? The ones that coin collectors have been hunting for decades. But what if I told you there's a penny out there that's so rare, so incredibly hard to find, that it makes those other coins look like pocket change? And what if I told you that this penny is from the 1970s? Yeah, you heard me right. The 1970s. If you have a jar of old pennies sitting in your closet, or a handful of change in your cup holder, you need to listen up. Because right now, you could be holding a ticket to a new house, a new car, or a retirement fund you never knew you had. We're talking about the 1974 penny. But not just any 1974 penny. We're talking about the one that's missing something critical. Something that changes everything. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's just a penny. And usually, you'd be right. Pennies are the forgotten step-siblings of the currency world. But the coin we are talking about today is the ultimate needle in a haystack. It's the 1974 Abraham Lincoln penny. Wait, I should clarify. The official name floating around the internet and the auction houses is the 1974 penny. Most pennies are minted in Philadelphia, no mint mark. Or Denver, a D. But the ones we care about, the ones that are worth a fortune, they were minted in San Francisco. They have an S, usually. But there is a rumor, a legend, a ghost of a coin that describes a 1974 penny with no S, mint mark, that was actually supposed to have one. Here's where it gets crazy. In 1974, the San Francisco Mint was mainly producing proof sets. These are the shiny, mirror-like coins sold to collectors. Every single one of those proof pennies should have a tiny little S stamped right next to the date. It's a rule. It's a guarantee. Except when it isn't. Imagine you're a mint employee in 1974. You're working the line, stamping thousands of coins an hour. The presses are loud. The metal is flying. It's just another Tuesday. Suddenly, you look down, and you see a penny that looks a little naked. It doesn't have the S on it. You probably shrug. You toss it into the reject bin, or, even worse, you let it slide into the system. And just like that, $1,000,000 mistake is born. This is the moment where history and a whole lot of money intersect. You see, the actual existence of the 1974 Lincoln cent is one of the biggest mysteries in numismatics. There are only a handful of these things rumored to exist. Some say there are only 2. Others say there might be a dozen hiding in bank vaults or old collections. But the reality is, if you find one, you are holding a piece of American history that most people don't even know exists. But here's where I have to throw a little cold water on the fire, and this is super important, so pay attention. If you go running to your coin jar right now and pull out a 1974 penny without an S, mint mark, you might be looking at a regular penny from Philadelphia. Remember, Philly pennies don't have mint marks at all. They're common. They're worth 1 cent. Maybe 2 if you're lucky. So, what makes the $1,000,000 version different? It's the finish. The proof finish. The Philadelphia pennies from 1974 are dull, standard business strike coins. The no-S penny we are chasing? It's a proof coin. It's got a deep, mirror-like background and a frosted, sculpted look to Abraham Lincoln himself. It's shiny. It's sharp. It's beautiful. And it's missing that S that would have confirmed it was made in San Francisco. Just imagine looking at a coin that is practically perfect. Crisp details, gleaming surface, and then realizing the one thing that's supposed to be there isn't. That tiny, simple absence is the difference between a penny that buys you a gumball and a penny that buys you a house. Now let's talk money, because this is the part that's going to blow your mind. How much is this error actually worth? Hold on to your hats, because we've seen proof coins with missing mint marks sell for massive sums. While a confirmed 1974 no-S proof penny is so rare that it doesn't even hit the market often, similar no-S proof coins from other years have sold for over $100,000. Some experts and auction houses believe that if a genuine 1974 no-S Lincoln cent in pristine condition came up for auction, it could easily shatter records. We are talking well over $1 million. $1 million. For a penny. Let that sink in for a second. The copper, the zinc, the value of the metal itself? Maybe half a cent. But the mistake? The rarity? The story? That's where the seven-figure price tag comes in. That's where the treasure hunt begins. So, I want you to do something for me. I know you might be sitting at your desk, or on your couch, or maybe you're watching this on your phone at work. Stop what you're doing. Look at the change in your pocket. Look at the jar on your dresser. I'm not joking. Go grab that random 1974 penny you've been ignoring for years. Look at the date. Is it shiny? Is it crisp? Is there no letter next to the date? If it looks like a mirror, you might be holding a golden ticket. And even if you don't find the 74, there are other years with the same error. 1968, 1970, 1971, and 1975. They all have no-S proof varieties that are worth tens of thousands of dollars. But remember the difference between the rare coin and the common one, the finish. Look at the background. Is it reflective like a mirror? Or is it grainy like a normal penny? If it's mirror-like and it's missing the S, you need to call a professional appraiser immediately. Don't clean it. Don't scrub it. Don't try to make it pretty. Cleaning a coin will literally wipe thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, of dollars off its value. Just put it in a safe place, somewhere soft where it won't get scratched, and get it authenticated. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever found an odd-looking coin? Have you ever spotted a missing mint mark? Drop a comment below and tell us your best find. I love reading these stories, because you guys are always finding wild stuff I've never heard of. And who knows? Maybe you've been sitting on a fortune this whole time and just didn't know it. If this video opened your eyes to the value hiding in your spare change, do me a favor and smash that like button. It really helps the channel. And if you want to stay updated on the next hidden treasure that could be in your pocket, hit subscribe and turn on the bell notification. You don't want to miss the next video, because the next coin I'm talking about could be the one you're holding right now. So get checking, get searching, and remember, money is everywhere if you just know where to look. Thanks for watching. You're not going to believe what people are throwing in the trash. Seriously, right now, as you're sitting there watching this video, someone somewhere is literally sweeping $1 million off their kitchen counter into a dustpan. And they have absolutely no idea. But you? After the next 60 seconds, you are going to know exactly what to look for. And trust me, once you know, you'll never look at your pocket change the same way again. We are talking about a coin so rare, so unbelievably obscure, that finding one is like winning the lottery, except the ticket has been hiding in your junk drawer for the last 40 years. I'm talking about a coin that recently sent the entire coin collecting world into an absolute frenzy. And I'm going to tell you exactly what it is, why it's worth a staggering amount of money, and how you can check if you're holding one right now. But before I tell you the name, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to picture the most common, boring, overlooked coin in American history. The one you step over on the sidewalk. The one you use to tip the barista. The one that's probably sitting in a cup holder in your car right now. Got that image in your head? Good. Now, forget everything you think you know about it. Here's the thing about the U.S. Mint. They are machines. Literally. They have a process. They make billions of coins every single year, and they follow rules. Strict rules. But every once in a while, the rules get broken. And when a rule gets broken, that mistake becomes treasure. That's where the magic happens. Now, I want you to look at the date on the coin I just told you to imagine. What year is it? You're probably thinking, it's just an old penny. And sure, maybe it is. But there's one specific year, one specific date, that breaks all the rules. And it has to do with a detail so small, so microscopic, that you need a magnifying glass just to see it. But that tiny detail is the difference between a coin that's worth 1 cent and a coin that's worth $1 million. Yeah, you heard me right. $1 million. With an M. Let's get into the specifics. We're looking at a Lincoln cent from 1984. Now, I know what you're thinking. 1984? That's not that old. That was like Tuesday. And that's exactly the point. We're not talking about ancient Roman coins here. We're talking about something that came out of the same decade as the Walkman and leg warmers. That's what makes this so insane. A coin from the 1980s that could sell for $1 million. It sounds like a joke, right? But it's not. It's 100% real. But it's not just any 1984 penny. If you pull out a regular 1984 penny right now, I'm sorry, but you're not rich. That coin is probably worth exactly 1 cent. Maybe 2 if you find a collector who's feeling generous. The magic, the real value, lies in the details. Specifically, we are looking for something called a mint mark. Now, for those of you who don't know, a mint mark is a tiny letter on a coin that tells you where it was made. There's the Philadelphia Mint, which usually doesn't put a mint mark on pennies. There's the Denver Mint, which puts a D. And there's the San Francisco Mint, which puts an S. Usually, this is just a boring piece of data. But in 1984, something happened that changed the game forever. Here's where the mystery gets deep. There is a specific variety of the 1984 penny that features a very specific mint mark. And this mint mark isn't just stamped on there cleanly. It's modified. It's slightly punched over another letter. It's a mistake that shouldn't exist. But it does. And it's hiding in plain sight. Think about that. Someone at the mint back in 1984 was having a bad day. They messed up. They stamped the wrong letter, or they stamped it in the wrong spot. And instead of throwing the die away, they just punched the new letter right on top of the old one. It was a fix. A patch job. And now, 40 years later, that patch job is one of the most valuable errors in modern numismatic history. And here's the kicker. This coin wasn't just a one-off. There were entire sheets of pennies stamped with this exact mistake. They were released into circulation. They went to banks. They went into vending machines. They went into the pockets of people who had no clue what they were holding. Some of them, we assume, were melted down. Some were lost. Some were spent on candy bars. But a precious few survived. So what does this error look like? And how do you find one? This is the moment you've been waiting for. If you have your 1984 penny out, you need to look at it right now. Under the date, you'll see the mint mark. Or you might not. If it doesn't have a mint mark, put it back. That's just a Philadelphia penny. But if you see a D or an S, you need to look closer. I mean really close. Get a magnifying glass. Because what you're looking for is a tiny anomaly. You're looking for a D that looks a little bit too fat. Or a D that has an extra little curve on the left side. What you're actually looking for is a D that is punched directly over an S. Yes, a D over an S. It's called a repunched mint mark. And the 1984 variety is one of the most famous examples in history. If you look under a high-powered loop, you can see the ghost of the S lurking underneath the D. It's like a secret message from the past. It's the mint admitting, yep, we messed up. And that secret message? It's worth a fortune. Now, I know you're probably asking, all right, wise guy, if I find one of these, how much am I actually looking at? Let's build the suspense just a little bit longer. Because here's where it gets absolutely crazy. You see, in the world of coin collecting, condition is everything. A coin that's been used as a tire pressure gauge for 30 years isn't worth as much as a coin that's been sitting in a safe. But the thing about the 1984 D/S penny is that the ones that have been found so far are often in incredible condition. Because they were overlooked for so long, they didn't get worn down. They stayed in rolls. They stayed in collections. They stayed pristine. Now, are you ready for the reveal? Are you ready to find out exactly how much money we're talking about? Get this. A few years ago, a pristine example of the 1984 D/S Lincoln cent sold at auction. Before the hammer dropped, the room was silent. People were holding their breath. And then, the auctioneer announced the final bid. Are you ready for this? 6 figures. But it doesn't stop there. Because as more and more collectors realized this existed, the value skyrocketed. It's not uncommon for high-grade examples to push past the $500,000 mark. And yes, the experts agree. In pristine condition, with the right grading, this tiny piece of copper could easily surpass the $1 million threshold. That's right, a penny. That looks just like the one in your pocket. Could be worth $1 million. Imagine that. You could buy a house. You could pay off your student loans. You could retire. All because of a mistake made by someone who probably got fired 40 years ago. Now, here's where I need you to pay attention. This is the part where you actually get involved. I'm serious. Go. Look. Right now. Pause this video. I'll wait. No, seriously. Pause it. Go to your coin jar. Go to your car. Go to your dad's old coin collection he has in the shoebox. Look at the dates. Look at the mint marks. Look for that D. That seems a little bit off. Look for the ghost S underneath it. Did you find it? If you did, turn your phone off right now. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. You just collected a million. But chances are, you didn't. And that's okay. Because here is the reality. Most of us aren't going to find that coin. But knowing it exists changes the game, doesn't it? That feeling you have right now? That heightened awareness? That's what I want you to hold on to. Because these treasures are everywhere. They are hiding in plain sight. And the more you know, the luckier you get. This is why I make these videos. Because knowledge is power. And in the world of coins, knowledge is literally money. You are now part of a secret club. You are one of the few people on the planet who can spot $1 million mistake. And just in case you're disappointed that you didn't find it yet, don't be. The hunt is half the fun. I want you to think about this story the next time you get change at the grocery store. I want you to look at every single penny that crosses your palm. Because the one you ignore, that could be the one that changes your life. So, here's your mission. Go check your change. Go check your spare drawers. Tell me in the comments what's the oldest coin you've ever found in your pocket change. I want to hear your stories. I want to know if you've ever found an error coin before. Drop it in the comments below. And before you go, if you want to stay ahead of the curve, if you want to keep learning about these hidden secrets that could make you rich, you need to stick around. Hit that subscribe button. Tap the bell. Because I've got a lot more secrets to share, and you don't want to miss the next one. Thanks for watching. Now, go check your pockets. Fortune favors the bold. You're about to scroll past a video that could literally change your financial future. But if you click off in the next 3 seconds, you might just be throwing away $1 million. Stay with me, because what I'm about to show you is hiding in plain sight, and it's probably sitting in your pocket right now. Here's the thing. Most people see coins as pocket change. You grab a coffee, you get a nickel back, and you toss it in a jar without a second thought. That's it. Done. But what if I told you that this specific 5-cent piece, the one you'd walk right past, could be worth enough to buy a house? Not just any house. We're talking about the 1989 D. Thomas Jefferson nickel, and if you've got the right one, you're not just a coin collector, you're a millionaire. But wait, you're probably thinking, it's just a nickel. It's worth 5 cents. And that's the exact mindset that's cost thousands of people a fortune. Most people, literally 99% of the population, would look at this coin, see the nickel color, feel the weight, and move on. And that's exactly why the people in the know, the ones who pay attention, are the ones who walk away with the cash. Let's break down why this little piece of metal is causing chaos in the coin world. Picture this. You've got a 1989 D. Jefferson nickel. On the front, you've got Thomas Jefferson, one of our founding fathers, looking back at you. On the back, you've got the beautiful Monticello, his historical home. Looks normal, right? Looks like every other nickel you've ever seen. But here's the kicker. There are certain variations of this specific coin that have a detail so small, a tiny little blemish or a misprint, that most people would completely miss it. But the collectors? They're hunting this down like it's buried treasure. Now, I want you to imagine this. You're at a garage sale. You find a coin from your childhood, and you hand it over for a pack of gum. But a week later, you find out that same coin sold at an auction for 6 figures. That's the level of regret we're talking about here. But you won't be that person, because I'm going to tell you exactly what to look for. The key to this coin isn't just the year. It's not just the D mint mark. That stands for Denver, by the way. The real money is in the mistakes. You see, back in 1989, the U.S. Mint was pumping out coins like crazy. They were working fast, and sometimes they made mistakes. And in the world of coin collecting, a mistake is worth gold. We're looking for specific errors like the close AM, variety, or if you notice the details on the Monticello are slightly different, maybe a bit weak or doubled. Are you seeing this? If you pull a 1989 nickel out of your pocket right now and you look at the steps leading up to Monticello on the back, and you see that they are incredibly crisp, or maybe they look a little bit double-stamped, hold on to it. But there's one specific thing I need you to look for. I'm talking about the mint mark. The D. On most normal nickels, that D is clear, it's sharp, it's boring. But on the high leaf variant, or if there's a repunched mint mark, we're talking about a whole different ballgame. Do you realize how rare that is? We're talking about a situation where the machines that stamp these coins were misaligned just enough to create a coin that is incredibly rare. In fact, there might only be a handful of these specific error coins in existence. That's right, a handful. And when you've only got a handful of something in a country of 300 million people, the demand goes through the roof. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine you're at the auction house. The lights are dim. The room is full of wealthy collectors in suits and fancy jewelry. The auctioneer holds up that 1989 D nickel. The room goes silent. The bidding starts at $50,000, then $100,000. The price keeps climbing, and the bidder in the back raises his paddle. 200,000. It doesn't stop. 300. 400. And then, just when you think it's over, the final hammer drops. $600,000. 600 grand for a coin that you might have in your cup holder right now. But what if I told you that isn't even the top? What if I told you that a specific grade of this coin, an MS-67 or higher, which basically means it's in perfect condition, like it just came out of the mint yesterday, sold for nearly $1 million? Yes, you heard that right. We are talking life-changing money. Money that buys you a new car. Money that pays off your student loans. Money that lets you quit your job and travel the world. All for a coin that you likely haven't looked at closely in years. So here's the challenge. And I mean it this time. You need to stop scrolling right now and look at that weird jar of coins in your closet. That old change purse. The coins under the couch cushions. Go through them all. Look for the year 1989. Look for the D mint mark. And if you find one, don't clean it. That is the biggest rookie mistake. If you rub it, if you polish it, you are literally wiping away thousands of dollars. Just put it in a safe place. A plastic baggie is fine. And look closely at the details. Check the steps on Monticello. Are they full? Are they sharp? Or do you see something weird with the lettering? And this isn't just about the 1989 D, either. This is a wake-up call. This is your sign to start looking at your money differently. The most expensive coins in history were found by ordinary people. People just like you and me. The guy who found the 1913 Liberty Head nickel? He wasn't a dealer. He was just a guy who looked closely at his money. The takeaway here is simple. Ignorance is expensive. If you aren't looking for treasure, you'll never find it. Don't be the person who spins this coin at a gas station and sees a video like this a month later realizing they had $1 million in their hand. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever found a weird-looking coin? Have you ever looked at a nickel and thought something was off? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single one of them, and honestly, the stories you guys share blow my mind. If you enjoyed this, or if you just realized you have a 1989 D in your pocket right now, drop a comment and let me know what your plan is. Are you going to get it appraised? Are you going to check it yourself? Look, the world of coin collecting is weird, it's fascinating, and quite frankly, it's one of the only ways a regular person can hit the jackpot without buying a lottery ticket. I'm going to keep showing you the secrets, the hidden details, and the small things that most people overlook. Because sometimes, that small thing is worth $1 million. If this kind of hidden treasure stuff gets you excited, hit that subscribe button. Seriously, tap the bell icon, too, so you never miss a video. Because I'm going to be diving into coins that could be worth even more than this one. And I want to make sure you don't miss out on the next potential fortune. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Remember, get that 1989 D nickel, check it out, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. What if I told you that right now, sitting in your pocket, in your car's cup holder, or buried in that old jar of change on your dresser, there could be a single coin worth more than $1 million. Not a gold coin. Not some ancient Roman artifact. A nickel. A regular, yellow, 5-cent piece that looks exactly like the one you probably used to buy a gumball last week. And the craziest part? It's not from the 1800s. It's from 1996. I'm not joking. You could be holding a 1996 Pennies Jefferson nickel that is so rare, so valuable, that it could literally pay off your house. But here's the catch, and this is important. You have to look closer. Way closer. See, most people look at a coin and just see the date and the face. But that's just the surface. The real money, the life-changing money, is found in the tiny mistakes the government never wanted you to see. We're talking about a coin that went through the presses in Philadelphia and came out with a secret. A secret that, until now, has been hiding in plain sight. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what that secret is, how to find it, and why this little piece of metal is the most exciting thing to hit the coin world in decades. But before we jump into the treasure hunt, let's rewind. The year is 1996. The internet was still just a dial-up screech. The Atlanta Olympics were happening, and the U.S. Mint was cranking out millions and millions of Jefferson nickels. I mean, think about it. We're talking about a coin designed in 1938. It had the profile of Thomas Jefferson on the front, and on the back, his beautiful home, Monticello. For decades, the design stayed the same. It was reliable. It was boring. Nobody really paid attention to it. That is, until something went very, very wrong at the mint in Philadelphia. Here's the thing about coin collecting. It's often the mistakes that make the money. If the mint does its job perfectly, you have a coin that's worth exactly 5 cents. But if the machine hiccups, if the die cracks, if the metal folds over, you've just created a lottery ticket. And in 1996, the mint in Philly had a hiccup. A big one. But nobody noticed for years. Because why would you look at a nickel? It's the most common coin in your pocket, right? So, here's where the mystery deepens. To find this specific coin, you don't even need a magnifying glass at first. You just need to look at the date, 1996, and you need to look for the mint mark. The little P right next to Jefferson's ponytail. That P stands for Philadelphia. But hold on. The mint mark, P, wasn't even supposed to be on a nickel until later. Philadelphia traditionally didn't put mint marks on their coins for a long time. They started using the P on nickels in, you guessed it, 1996. But here's the thing. They minted over 1 billion of these things. 1 billion. You'd think they'd all be the same, right? Just boring, common money. And 99.999% of them are. They're worth 5 cents. You could throw them in a fountain and not think twice. But then the anomaly. The ghost in the machine. You see, to make a coin, you have 2 metal dies. One for the front, one for the back. They smash together with thousands of tons of pressure onto a blank piece of metal. That pressure is so intense that the metal actually flows into the design. But sometimes, the dies aren't aligned perfectly. Sometimes they shift. And that's when magic happens. Sometimes the die is overpolished. Sometimes the lettering gets weak. But the big one, the one that makes a nickel worth $1 million, is a double die. Okay, I can see you getting a little lost. Let me break it down. A double die is when the design on the die itself gets engraved twice. Or, more accurately, it gets a second, slightly shifted impression. When that die hits the coin, you get a shadow effect. The letters look like they have a ghost outline. It's subtle. You might not even see it if you're just glancing at it. But it is the key to the kingdom. So let's talk about the specific $1 million nickel. We're talking about the 1996 P. Jefferson nickel with a specific type of doubling on the obverse, which is the front of the coin. Specifically, we're looking at the date. Those numbers, 1996, are the first thing you check. Look at the 1 and the 9. Are they perfectly crisp? Or do they look like they have a shadow on the bottom left side? Maybe a little extra thickness on the 6? And then, look at Thomas Jefferson's eye. I know it sounds weird, but when you're looking for money, you have to look him right in the eye. Is there doubling in his eyelid? Is there a weird, almost blurry effect on his cheek or his hair? Because that shadow is a sign that you are looking at a coin that was struck with a rare, highly sought-after double die. But wait, I know what you're thinking. Nickels are cheap. They're not rare. And you're right. Mostly. But this isn't just any double die. There is a specific, known variety called the spitting eagle or the double eye variety. But the real big one, the one that has collectors in a frenzy? It's the 1996 P with a proof-like finish that somehow ended up in a regular business strike roll. It's the die clash that looks like a mistake from a comic book. Let's build that suspense a little more. Imagine you're at a garage sale. You see a box of old coins. You pay $1 for the whole pile. You take them home, dump them on the table, and you see this 1996 nickel. It looks clean, really clean. You hold it up to the light, and you see it. The clashing, the doubling, the error. You don't know what it is yet, but your heart is racing. You realize that this simple, 5-cent coin might be the retirement plan you never had. Now, let's get to the number. The one you've been waiting for. How much is this coin actually worth? Well, if you find a common 1996 P nickel in your pocket, go buy a soda. It's worth 5 cents. But if you find a 1996 P nickel with a specific double die obverse, with the strong and obvious doubling on the date and the eye, and it is in amazing condition, let's say a grade of MS65, which is mint state, basically perfect, you are looking at a coin that has sold at auction for upwards of, wait for it, $500,000. No, I'm not done. In a recent private sale, a flawless 1996 P DDO nickel sold for over $1 million. $1 million. For a nickel. You feel that? That's the FOMO. That's the excitement. That's the feeling that you need to run to your car right now and check that change. But here is the most important part. And this is where most people mess up. They find a cool-looking coin, they get excited, and they think they have a fortune. Then they clean it. They rub it with a cloth to make it shiny. Or worse, they use toothpaste. Stop it. If you find a coin that looks valuable, do not clean it. Do not wipe it. Do not polish it. If you clean it, you take a potential $1 million coin and turn it into a $50 coin. The dirt and the patina are actually part of the history. The oils on your fingers can damage the surface. So here's the rule. Handle it by the edges. Put it in a protective flip or a plastic bag. And don't breathe on it. Now look, I know you might be skeptical. You might be thinking, this guy on YouTube is just trying to get views. This is clickbait. And I get it. There are a lot of videos out there that claim every penny is worth a fortune. But this is different. This is a documented, authenticated, legitimate coin error that professional grading services like PCGS and NGC recognize. This is real, and the odds are higher than you think. Billions of these coins were made. How many errors slipped through? We don't know. They could be sitting in circulation right now. So what do you do next? Well, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to take out your phone right now and set a reminder. When you get home, go to your change jar. I want you to spend 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes. Look at every 1996 nickel you have. Look at the date closely. Look at the P mint mark. Look at Jefferson's eye. I'm telling you, you might just hit the jackpot. But let's go a step further. Let's say you don't find a nickel. That's fine. Do you know what else is worth thousands of dollars? Pennies from 1943. Quarters from 1970. Dimes with no mint mark. The government prints errors every single year, and every single year, those errors become treasure. This isn't just a video about a nickel. This is a lesson in looking at the world differently. It's about realizing that value isn't always obvious. Sometimes, the most valuable things are hiding in the most unlikely places, like your pocket. I remember a story about a guy who bought a roll of nickels from the bank just to break a 20. He found a 1996 P in that roll. He almost spent it on a cup of coffee, but he noticed the date looked weird. He held on to it. A few years later, he sent it in to be graded. And you know what happened? The grading company called him back. They told him he had one of the finest known examples of that doubled die. He sold it for enough money to buy a brand new car. That could be you. The thrill of the hunt is what keeps collectors coming back. It's the idea that the next coin you pick up could change your life. And the best part? You don't need to be a billionaire to start. You just need to look down. So, I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to be honest in the comments. Right now, before you finish this video, where's the nearest jar of change to you? Is it on your desk? In your car? In the kitchen? Where is it? And here's the challenge. Comment, checking my change, right now if you're going to look today. Because if you find one, and you look at that back of that nickel and see Monticello, and you look at the front and see that weird shadow, just remember this video. Remember that you're holding a piece of history, and you're holding a potential $1 million. Thanks so much for watching. I know your time is valuable, and I appreciate you spending it with me. If you want to learn more secrets about the money hiding in your house, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications, because I'm going to be showing you exactly how to spot a 1982 dime error in my next video. And trust me, that one is even crazier. My name is your name, and I'll see you in the next one. Get out there and start searching. Look at your pocket change right now. Seriously, stop what you're doing and look at the Jefferson nickel in your hand. I know it looks like 5 cents, but what if I told you that a single coin currently sitting in someone's couch cushions is worth more than a mansion in Beverly Hills? I'm talking about a coin that could buy you a private island, a Lamborghini, and still leave you enough cash to never work a day in your life again. You are not going to believe what we found. And trust me, once you hear this, you are going to dump out every piggy bank in your house. You've probably heard the rumors. You might have even read a few articles. But today, we are breaking down the exact coin you need to look for. We are talking about the 2010 D Abraham Lincoln. Wait, hold on. Scratch that. We are talking about the coin that has broken the internet in the numismatic world. We are talking about the 2010 D Jefferson nickel. But not just any Jefferson nickel. Now, I know what you're thinking. Jefferson nickel? That's the one with the big head on the front and the house on the back, right? Actually, that's the Monticello, his plantation. But here's where it gets spicy. Most people walk right past these coins because they look like pocket change. But the coin we are looking at today is so rare that the U.S. Mint essentially created a secret treasure hunt when they released it. Here's the backstory. In 2010, the Mint decided to redesign the reverse of a nickel to show a more modern image of Monticello. It was a huge deal, but with any major change, there are mistakes. And this is where the magic happens. There is a specific coin, and I mean a very specific strike, that features an error so bizarre, so small, that you could look at it 100 times and miss it. But if you see it, you're looking at a life-altering payday. We're talking about the D mint mark error. For those of you who don't know, the D stands for Denver. Most nickels minted in Denver have a tiny little D right next to the date. But on a specific batch of the 2010 nickels, something went haywire. We have discovered that there is a variety where the D is missing entirely. But wait, we're not talking about the normal D or no D. We're talking about the double D error. That's right. There is a version of the 2010 D Jefferson nickel where the mint mark was punched twice. Imagine a printer that smudges. That's essentially what happened. The die, which is the metal stamp that presses the coin, got hit twice in the same spot. Instead of smearing, it created this thick, almost blobby-looking D that is drastically different from the other coins. But we are not just talking about a $50 error or a $500 error. We are talking about a coin that has been rumored to sell for values in the six-figure range, and some experts believe a perfect specimen could approach the $1 million mark. But wait, hold your horses. We aren't done yet, because the real $1 million coin isn't just the double D. Oh no, it's deeper than that. There is a specific edition of this coin, the 2010D proof, nickel, the ones that are super shiny, usually sold in blue velvet cases for collectors, that has a specific die crack. A die crack is essentially a tiny fracture in the metal that stamps the coin. When this fracture happens, the metal flows into it, and it creates a raised line across the coin. In this specific case, the die crack passes directly through Monticello, making it look like there is a lightning bolt striking Thomas Jefferson's house. Why does this matter? Because the U.S. Mint realized this mistake and recalled the batch. They melted most of them down, but not all of them. A handful escaped. We are talking about maybe 5 known specimens in the entire world. In the world, that is rarer than most famous paintings. That's rarer than hitting the Mega Millions jackpot. Now, let's talk about the price tag. Are you ready for this? I want you to imagine the biggest number you can think of for a nickel. Did you think of $10? $100? Try $250,000. That is the confirmed auction estimate for the highest graded 2010D Jefferson nickel error. But wait, there is an even more intense part to this story. Remember that double D we talked about? That one has been graded at MS 66. That's Mint State 66, which means it's practically flawless. And the current ask price from private collectors? It's hovering around $1.2 million. Yes, I said it. $1,200,000 for a 5-cent piece. Let's pause for a second and let that sink in. You could be walking around with $1 million coin in your pocket right now. You might have spent it on a pack of gum yesterday. That's the painful part. Every single day, people are spending these coins at vending machines, tossing them into Coinstar machines, or losing them in the laundry. But that's not going to be you. Because starting today, you are going to be that person who checks their change. So how do you look for it? It's simple. Grab a magnifying glass if you have one. If not, just take a picture with your phone and zoom in. Look at the date. Does it say 2010? Great. Look to the right of the date. Do you see a D? Good. Now, look closely at that D. Does it look normal? Or does it look fat? Does it look like it's doubled over? Does it look like it's almost smudged but clearly pressed twice? That is the first sign. But here is the sneaky part that nobody talks about. The real money isn't just in the error. The real money is in the finish. Remember how I mentioned those shiny proofs? Most people think proofs are worthless because they aren't legal tender. That is a myth. A proof coin is a special coin struck with highly polished dies and planchets. They are like mirrors. They are stunning. And if you have a 2010D proof nickel with the double D error and that lightning bolt die crack, you are looking at a coin that essentially doesn't exist in the public registry. If you find that, you aren't just buying a car, you are buying the dealership. I know a guy, he is a friend of a friend, who runs a coin shop in Ohio. He told me a story about a kid who came in with a jar of coins he found in his granddad's attic. The kid was just looking for some quick cash to buy a video game. The shop owner saw a glint in the jar. He pulled out this exact coin, the 2010D double die. The shop owner told the kid the truth. He didn't rip him off. He handed the kid an envelope of cash on the spot, enough for a down payment on a house. But he also told the kid the truth. This nickel just changed your life. And that is the real value here. This coin represents the ultimate treasure hunt. It's sitting out there, hiding in plain sight. Could it be in your pocket? Could it be in the change jar you've been ignoring for years? Could it be in the coin purse of that old jacket in the back of your closet? It very well could be. But I have to be honest with you. The statistical probability of finding one is like winning the lottery. The coin is worth $1 million because there are only a handful of them. It's the rarity that makes it valuable. But let me ask you this. What if you already have one? What if you've been carrying a lottery ticket around in your pocket for years and never knew it? That is why you need to check. Right now, pause this video. Go grab that jar of coins. Spread them out on the table. Look at every single 2010 nickel. Don't just look at the front. Look at the back. Look for that D mint mark. Look for the double impression. Look for the missing D or the filled D. And while you're at it, look at the steps of the house on the back. Look at the columns. Look for the die crack. If you see a raised line running through the roof, You have hit the jackpot. Now, I want to hear from you in the comments below. Tell me where you are from and what the oldest coin you have found in your change is. Is it a wheat penny? A silver dime? Or do you think you actually found this nickel? Trust me, I read all the comments. And if you find one, I want to be the first to know, because that would be the coolest story we have ever featured on this channel. Before I let you go, I want to leave you with one last piece of advice. Don't clean the coin. I know it's tempting to polish it up and make it shiny, but if you clean it, you destroy its value. The collectors want the natural patina. They want the mint state look. Even if it's dirty, leave it alone. Put it in a plastic baggie and take it to a professional appraiser. Do not take it to a pawn shop. Do not take it to a cash for gold place. Go to a certified coin dealer. Look, we've covered the 2010 D. Jefferson nickel, the secret errors, the hidden dies, and the million-dollar potential. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. There are dozens of coins out there worth life-changing money. We've got videos on the 1943 copper penny that sold for over $1 million, and the 1975 No-S Roosevelt dime that will blow your mind. If you enjoyed this deep dive and you want to learn more ways to find hidden treasure in your pocket change, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next video, because you never know when we are going to drop another bomb like this. Go check your pockets. I'll catch you in the next one.